What up, though? Welcome to the Detroit Sports Alliance Roundtable with the DSA. We are in for a good show today, ladies and gentlemen. I am happy to be here with you. I'm your host, Luke G from Lukegsfieldreview, and obviously you know that because you would not be here. Now, let's get into the introductions of who's rocking with us today. Today we have ourselves Mr. Heart of the City, 313 J-Mo. What up, though?
What's good? What's popping, everybody? Let's get it going, man. We gotta move off of some things and focus on the bigger picture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next up, we have the king of all king when it comes to the introductions, Mr. MicroMike. What it do, Mike?
Hey, man, I am ready, lock, ready to rock, and let's get this fire show going.
Let's go. And today, we have one of the oldie but goodies who is to never be forgotten, but he is certainly in the building with us today. We have Mr. Noble Sports Entertainment, TA. What's up, man? What's going on, bro?
What it do, baby?
Man, oh man. That is what's up. J-Mo, can we get that roll call real quick? Oh, no, better yet, Mike, you do the roll call. You do the roll call, Mike.
All right, I'll get that roll call. What up, though, D-Map, Kyle Webb, General View, Mr. Khan, obviously L, Wormy, Jane Tanksley, Sports Game Breakdowns, Kirik, Kool-Aid, and Cornbread, the great name there, Joey Capaz, Foot Clan Ofo, Antoine is High, James Holyfield, and, of course, J-Mo and the rest of us. What up, though, fellas? We about to get this thing going.
All right, now listen, before we get started, I want to make sure that I just go ahead and just put this out here. So it has come to my attention that there's a narrative that has been pushed that the DSA job is to gas you people up. And that you people who rock with us, who come into the chat, that you guys are a part of this DSA cult. And I'm the cult leader. And I got this whole cult thing going where I got y'all doing things. Now, why am I bringing this up before we get into our show? I would never, ever allow anybody to disrespect people for no reason. I would never, ever allow anybody to attack people for no reason. To call you guys a cult because you guys enjoy and appreciate what we do is not fair. It's not respectful, and it's just downright disrespectful. To call me a cult leader implies that I have some type of power over you, and that's just not true. I don't want any power over you. I want to talk to my community of Lions fans. Now, if you notice that the music that was being played was Lil Wayne's Fireman, because the idea that the DSA is here to gas y'all up would imply that we're playing with fire, because the one thing gas does is it keeps a car going and it will burn. And the reason I'm not going to subscribe to that type of rhetoric is because it is absolutely not true. It's just not true. When it comes to people attacking me, cool, attack me. I can deal with that. But when it comes to people attacking other people and calling them a cult because they don't want to rock with your product, I can't accept that. I can't accept a person taking time out their day to try to downplay other people for enjoying what we do because you can't produce a better product yourself. Rather than look in the mirror and simply ask yourself one question: what can I do to be better? Rather than sitting there and saying, what did I do? This narrative that's being pushed says it's everybody's fault but mine. I just want y'all to know that if you rock with the DSA, and I mean all its members, you rock with the Detroit Lion community, and that community goes all the way to everything King, Dosa Dion, Man Beast Morris's, the the Motor City Sports Talk, whatever the community is, it goes all the way out to there. If you rock with those communities, I am going to make sure that I defend you from people who make rhetoric because they feelings is hurt because their product is not being produced in a way that it should be. Now, with that being said, let me put this last disclaimer out there. If my name keep getting coming up in conversations, DSA keep coming up in negative conversations, do not, I repeat, do not be surprised when you get the response that you look for, which is going to be crickets. Because I would not waste my energy on people who would sit there and attack other people for enjoying a product. That's like me getting mad because you like ice cream and I love yogurt. So I just want y'all to know that this narrative is out there. Do not subscribe to that narrative. We are not here to push any type of narrative on you. We're not trying to gas y'all up. Everybody on this panel at this round table has a real job with real responsibilities, just like you people do. And on top of all that, we show up the same way you do to just talk football. And that should be the only narrative. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk some Detroit Lions football. I just wanted y'all to know that I'm not going to tolerate people with their weak bully tactics in an attempt to get clout to prevail. Let's get it. Y'all ready?
Let's get it.
Let's start off with you, TA. The Detroit Lions had a very disappointing loss to the Green Bay Packers. How do we bounce back from that?
Simple. Go out and win. But it's easier said than done. I know it's a lot of people that's frustrated, because they're saying that Lions fans are still talking about like what's going on and things of that nature. But we got to put it behind us as the past. We play one game at a time and move on from it. But yeah, it did hurt the fact that the officiating played a part in it. But it wasn't just the officiating. It was points that we left on the table. It was things that we did as well that we could have did in the game that would have had us to prevail in this game. And we got to really, really look at ourselves. Sometimes as Detroit Lion fans or Detroit Lions watching the football of Detroit Lions, sometimes we just beat ourselves. And we gotta be able to admit that at times. Sometimes the Detroit Lions beat themselves and they had an opportunity to close out that game. And that's the biggest thing that I've been talking about with the Lions is that we have to learn how to close out football games. And if we don't learn how to close them out, then every game is going to be competitive and close, but we're going to end up with the short end of the stick. And that's not a good thing. So definitely how we bounce back is go into this game and play like monsters and go out there and do what we need to do as far as opposing our will on Minnesota. I know it's going to be easier said than done because Minnesota has a top 10 defense, but we got to stick to our guns, man, and we got to be able to utilize the weapons on our team, and that's how we get it done on Sunday.
I mean, I definitely agree with you about the Packers game, but, in terms of this game, and I think that Antoine makes a very good point. You just got to go out there and beat the brakes off of the Vikings. You need to have a very short memory. I mean, be a goldfish for a day, all right? Yeah. Whatever happened. But at the end of the day, what we have to do is we have to be able to show up and a unified front and say, yep, y'all took it from us, and we're going to show you that you took it from us and come out with a new level of intensity to get it done. What say you, MicroMike? I mean, how do we bounce back from that disappointing loss?
First off, folks, Rage MK, I just found out, is a soldier as well. So I don't care.
Hey, salute to you, sir.
Fan, I don't care, man. That guy is my brother. He fights for this country. Absolutely love him, man. So thanks to him for serving our country. One and the same. Okay, now let's get to this game. I was thinking about this early. How does the Lions bounce back? I was down after that loss. And then I listened to a couple players, one specifically, I don't know who it was, but he says, Detroit versus everybody. Detroit versus everybody. And he was angry. He had that in him. He was angry. And I was thinking to myself, I was listening to some stuff the other day, getting put down, putting me in a corner, putting us in a corner. And I said, you know what? That really, really put a fire underneath me. kicking me when I was down. What happened with the Detroit? They got screwed. They got kicked when they was down.
Yeah.
What does that make me want to do? It makes me want to burn. It makes me want to put a fire up in my ass and work harder and harder. And so this is what I want to see from the Lions. They got kicked. They got knocked down. They got screwed over. They got some bad calls. What do you do after that? You're going to go into this next game and you are going to punch them straight in the mouth and put the NFL on notice. You want to screw us? You can't do it when we're up 2 touchdowns. This is it. We're in a corner. We're in a corner. This is do or die. It is do or die. You want to make some noise? Let's do it right now. Ford Field, 75,000 strong.
Oh my
Crowd
God.
goes nuts. It's ready to beat them down. I understand they got a great run game. I understand they got great wide receivers, but we have one pride. We have Detroit. We have the engine. We are the backbone of this country, and they're going to put it on them, and they're going to punch him in the mouth.
I'm so sorry, J-Mo. J-Mo, I'm so sorry.
He on 10 right now.
Hey, J-Mo, I'm so Mike. Hey, Mike.
I'm lit.
Hey, I'm so sorry, J-Mo. How we bounce back? I'm not even sure. You okay?
I don't even know what Mike was saying, man. He was just like basically killed. All I heard was kill the Vikings.
I said Sergeant Mike coming out, man.
Wait a minute. Time out real quick. Who put Ray's MK on timeout?
I don't know.
George Morgan, man. Man, Ray was talking that good. Ray was talking that good stuff, man. We gotta let these Packers fans know. We gotta let these Packers fans know what it is.
Hey, Ray, they say, hey, you talking a little too slick. They don't put you on a time. They say you need a minute, take time to think about what you're doing. Go ahead, Jay. We'll talk to the people, man.
We still rock with you, Ray.
Talk to the people, man.
So how do we bounce back? Well, first of all, honestly, if we won the game, I think I'll be a little bit more concerned about the Vikings. But looking in Trey Flowers' eyes, man to man, when he was talking to the media, I saw nothing but anger and fire. I'm like, the Vikings are in a lot of trouble. Kirk Cousins is in a lot of trouble. And all we got to do is keep playing like how we've been playing. I mean, the Lions, the 3 losses that we have, well, I'm counting Arizona as a loss too. We really lost those games in the fourth quarter, but we were dominating all those games. So if you look at all of our games, we really dominated every single game we played in, and we've either won or lost the game in the fourth quarter. So I think it's going to be the same thing with the Vikings. I think we'll dominate early, but this time it's about, beating the Vikings 30-14 and not winning, 21-20 or something, barely, with Stafford getting sacked 5 times. So I think even with that kind of loss that we had, that we should have won that game, I still think the team is getting better. Danny Amendola and T.J. Hockenson didn't look all the way there. Marvin Hall is looking like an amazing deep threat that we
yeah, he's looking nice, Jimmo.
Like he looking like he could be, Deshaun Jackson light. But so I think Amendola and Hockenson are gonna be healthy. I think the Vikings they're in for trouble. Like a lot of trouble, because now our team is very, very focused on winning the next game. We lost 2 games in a row. Everybody is focused on winning the next game, and they about to put all the energy they have into beating the Vikings. I'm telling you, I think Trey Flowers is about to be a monster. So, and you can see a lot of players were upset. And honestly, it's just about winning football games. End of the day, it's early on in the season. We not doing bad in the conference. We 2-1, so we 500 technically. All you got to do is keep winning games, because we got a lot of winnable games on the schedule.
And I think you make a very good point that that can't be questioned. I mean, we have to find ways to just keep winning. We can't get on top of ourselves and just simply what's the word I want to use? We can't get on top of ourselves and simply just act as if though everything must be handed to us. At some point you're gonna have to start to get that attitude that in quarter 1 I'm taking it, and I'm taking it like a Broad Street bully, and if you do that, that fixes everything. So to me, we have to be able to be in that same light with that type of thing. But it brings me to this next question of, who do we blame? Like, who deserves to blame for the lack of the red zone offense? Because one of the issues that we're having in these games, whether it be a win or a loss, is we are not getting in the end zone. So who deserves to blame for this red zone offense? Let's start off with you, TA.
Man, pretty much, Luke. I'm not gonna say anybody fingers is to blame. I'm gonna look at it like this, Luke. We're not doing what we should be doing in the red zone, and that's using those big targets. We got guys on the team that's 6'7", 6'5", 6'4", and 6'2". You got to these guys got to be able to catch the ball at a high point. You know what I mean? You got to, if you're Matthew Stafford, you got to get the ball. If they're calling a play for these receivers down in the red zone and the tight ends, I want to see some of these tight end sets being implemented. I know we practice on that stuff in the off season, but now you got to start putting this stuff, you got to start putting this stuff together. And that's been one of our biggest things, is that as being a Detroit Lion fan, we've struggled years with getting touchdowns in the red zone. And when you take away, when you're not able to punch it in with the run, you got to be able to get it to some of these bigger weapons that we have on our team. And I think it's a combination of everything being utilized out on the field. We need to utilize Kenny Galladay's height. We have to utilize Marvin Jones' height, TJ Hawkinson, and Jesse James. Where is he at? He definitely should be, like, just like how that guy we used to use a long time ago. What was his name? Fourier.
Fourier.
Yeah, so we gotta utilize these guys, because these are some big guys, man. And I want to see the tight end sets they've been putting in the off season. I want to see that stuff be worked out on the field. I want to see Thomas, whoever can get in the red zone and punch it in there. I want to see it. I know we took away CJ Anderson and we cut him away from the team, but as we can tell, sometimes it's kind of hard for Kerryon Johnson to get in there, because that line is not getting a real good push. So he's always having to try to leap, and that's not a good thing when you always have to leap over the pile, because somebody can knock the ball out of your hand, and then and we know what those results, because that happened against Kansas City, where we made a fumble. He didn't leap or anything, but we had a fumble at the goal line. So we got to be careful of protecting the ball that way as well. But we got to get the ball to these bigger receivers.
And I'm gonna be on a different end of the spectrum. And I know I'm different. I've always been different, and my goal is always to be objective versus being subjective, and stick to the facts. I blame the head coach and I blame the offensive coordinator, because at some point the offensive coordinator is drawing this plan up, and it's not working, and the play calling has not been inspiring. And that's when the head coach got to step in and say, you okay? You sleepy? You need a Snickers? You hungry? I mean, what's going on? Yeah. Because that's when he got to step in and say, this is not acceptable. When I look up and we get into the goal line, and where's our 2 and 3 tight end sets? Where they at?
Yeah.
Where's Jesse James on the goal line? He's 6'7".
Right. Where's Logan Thomas?
Where's Logan Thomas? I think he's 6'8". You just gonna throw TJ out there? Okay, cool. Can we stop telling the quarterback to throw high point balls? Can we start running dives? So for me, it falls on the offensive coordinator and it falls on the head coach. At some point, he has to be able to say, we got to do better. The play calling has just not been there. It just hasn't been there. It has not lived up to what it's supposed to be. Yeah. And when I go through and I look at the way that they're doing this, I don't like how we're utilizing our weapons.
Bro, I think we lost the feed.
You think so?
What happened?
No.
Yeah. The feed's down, man.
It still say we live.